All right. Well, it is Tuesday. It's like 9 o'clock East Coast, 6 o'clock West Coast, and like 8 somewhere in between, all that other fun stuff. But we've got a great show for you tonight, guys, and we have to kick it off with our brand new intro. So get ready for it, because here it comes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, TCT BNL, that's me, proudly brings to you its soon to be world famous No Lag Zone. And tonight we have 2 special guests. We have the original silverback hillbilly himself, Shaky. Oh my God, I actually pointed the right way. This is so cool. And we've got the gym teacher, Bobby Baden Bearded. Guys, thank you so much for coming back in to have an incredible conversation about, well, work.
Really?
What do we got? Metal Guys got first. How you doing, bro? Bill Rivers, how you doing? Hey, that's Shaky's gimmick, Gary. I'm not touching that one. Not touching that one. But still, gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Good.
Good. Just relaxing on the throne.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got the throne back out there, Billy? You know?
Yeah.
The silverback on his throne?
Yep. Being I'm on my throne.
He's got to have the crown.
The royal hillbilly coffee cup.
He's going full on out. And guys, I swear, you ever have to do a message with Billy on the weekend?
Make sure I got a shirt on.
Please, because you're going to be scarred for life. That's all I'm going to say.
Ask Dave. He used to FaceTime me all the time. It's like he'd come in and be like, "Put a shirt on."
No worries, Gary.
Pretty much. All right, now guys, I've had you both on before to talk about, and Bobby, I love how you put that today on Instagram. Adult timeout. That had me dying with laughter. I'm like,
that's all it is.
Yeah, it's like it's a perfect way to talk about it. But we've got a unique show. We've got 2 different systems. Granted, you fall under the same thing of Department of Corrections. But it's basically 2 different systems in 2 different states. So this is going to be kind of fun. You know, I'm sure there's some similarities, but I'm sure there's a lot of differences, you know?
Oh, I'm sure.
Ellie, you got to get out of live feeds because you always win. I swear. You're like the brand new metal chef. That's all I'm saying, Ellie. Freaking jealous of your streak, girl.
Bobby, I was just talking about the Dixons in the green room, praising them. I've got a bunch of them. And
yeah, I think I've got 8 of them.
Just lost the button.
I've got 0.
Oh, man. Can't praise it too early.
Yeah. I think Bob Hurricane Handle shirt. I mean, he wrecked a lot, so I guess he just wrecked on my shirt.
Alrighty, guys. Now, I asked you both this before. What got you into this line of work?
I'll let him go first every time. How's that? Age before beauty.
Now I'm going to be quiet the whole show. That's all I'm saying.
For me, I was jumping job to job. I'd moved from Warner Robins up to Atlanta for the Olympics in '96 and lived in a hotel room for a little while because there was no 1-bedroom apartments. Worked a couple of jobs up there, including Publix Warehouse in Six Flags Over, Georgia. And I came back home, was having to do labor work on a construction site. And having done it when I was younger, I knew it wasn't for me, and some buddies were in corrections and taught me into doing it. So I said I'll give it a shot, not expecting to do 5 years. I was going back to college to get my degree, and 24 years later, I'm looking at less than 5 to go to retirement.
Nice. Bobby?
Well, with me, it's even more simpler. I was actually in college to go to school to be a youth minister, and then broke up with a girlfriend, moved back home with mom and dad. My dad had always talked about the prison. He said they pay pretty good. It's not a hard job. And yeah, that's how I got signed up in 2009. And then I left in 2011 to go work in a psych hospital. And then probably 3.5 years after that, I came back home. Nature of the beast. It's not a hard job. It's how you take it, and that's really all it is. I mean, it's not bad money at all.
Well, see, I know this is going to sound kind of weird, especially seeing how, Ripken just popped in here. But in certain ways, I see Department of Corrections kind of like the military. It's very repetitive in what you do, but if you follow the system, you should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, here in Georgia, they consider corrections paramilitary, which I don't know. Like I said, in previous shows I've been on, I tried to go in the Army, when I was bouncing job to job and needed to drop 20 pounds. I dropped 40 in 2 months and went to go to MEPS, and they said no. Said because of my nerve disorder, I would not survive in a foxhole.
Yeah, okay. But
Yeah,
you've done
I'm right.
incredible work inside a massive concrete foxhole, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, well, needless to say, everybody in there got cussed out from the highest rank to the lowest.
That doesn't surprise me. It just doesn't surprise me.
Okay. I mean, I put the work in. I was ready to go.
Yeah. Now, one thing I cannot remember if I asked you guys the last time. Have you ever watched any of those wonderful movies about Department of Corrections, like, oh Lord, I'm drawing a Shawshank Redemption, and just been like, no, that never happened. No, that's never going to go this way. No, because I know being a vet, I watch certain military movies, and you're like, well, that uniform's wrong. There's no way it's fired that many rounds. That rifle should have been red hot by now.
Oh,
I will say, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I've seen probably every prison movie you could probably think of, shy of Escape from Alcatraz. It just didn't appeal to me. It's probably the only movie I've never seen.
Yeah, I've watched quite a bit myself, and as far as Shawshank, the different situations that go on in there, in some form or fashion, they happen, bud.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it, because no matter how much you think you know going in, there's always going to be something every single day, just Murphy's Law, that turns around and goes on. Everything from, like, I think we talked about before, like reality shows, 90 days in or 60 days in, whatever. They had a great scene where a guy's ordering his commissary and an inmate walks up behind and goes, well, I'm going to get this. And I'm thinking to myself, if that'd been a different inmate, not someone who just got in, someone might have got shanked.
Well, I mean, I would say that like that stuff actually probably does go on. We just don't actually see it like in the TV or movie perspective because it's so blatant in that perspective. Like with us, it's on the DL and you don't actually see it because it's politics in prison.
Okay,
Gary, we got a few. I've had a few of them I use.
What hasn't he done? Because he was Marine Corps. He was law enforcement. If I remember correct, you were a medic. You were studying to be a lawyer. You were city council and running a... Gary, goddamn. Bro, I bow to the master. That's all I'm going to say.
Modern day Forrest Gump right there.
Right? Oh, my God. But he'll be sitting around talking about beard oil, We got this, we got this variety. We got this variety. We got this one. Love you, Gary.
I may not be smart, but I know how to make some money.
Right? I know how to market my ass in a good way, too. But that also brings up the other weird thing. I cannot believe I'm going to ask you guys this because you've worked on the inside. Oops, wrong one. Ron, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Ron.
Okay, you hear all this stuff. God, I can't believe I'm going to say it. I know I'm going to get demonetized. I don't fucking care. About the sex trade inside a prison. Is it as rampant, if you can answer, as they make it out to be, where people are getting traded left and right for like cupcakes and honey buns?
I'll let you answer first.
I'll let you answer, period. I'm going to keep that one quiet.
Well, I mean, okay. I don't think that there's a good way to answer that, but I mean, obviously, if it's anything that's happening on the outside of a prison is more than likely happening on the inside. That's the only way to look at it. But when you think of it as something that possibly can't happen in a prison, it's more than likely happening more than you think. So I would say that the sex trade on the outside of a prison is only highlighted because it's on TV and all that stuff. They're going to put that on TV in a prison. But I mean, if it wasn't a thing, they wouldn't have came up with the PREA or Prison Rape Elimination Act if it wasn't a thing. So that's the easiest way to answer that.
That's a good way
to put it. I just, there's some things I'm just not going to talk about.
No, and like we talked about in the green room, and guys, I made these guys a promise. If there's anything they can't due to security reasons or protection reasons or whatever, we're not talking about it. If they tell me it's an off-limits subject, that's it. It's done. We're moving on. So
There's just not a good way to talk about that to where it's like it's not necessarily always black and white, but I mean, obviously, if it happens where we're sitting today, it's more than likely going on in the prison.
Gary, I hadn't tried it yet, but have I wanted to? Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I have. Because when you find it, and they make it with peaches and all that down there, it sure does smell good.
I've seen guys shy of dying off that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful because if you
What's
make
going
it that alcohol content.
Oh, that's not Dave. Deliberately, but my bad.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I can't see. So tiny.
Okay. I know I think I asked you guys this before. There is a flood of YouTube channels out there by ex-inmates basically putting up how to make life easier inside. One of them who just kills me is Larry Lawton, America's #1 jewel thief. And he's putting up things like, this is how you make prison pizza. This is how you make prison nachos. This is how you... Don't you guys see that as guards? I know for you, yours changed. You were a guard, and we'll touch on, the yard monitor.
No, I mean, anybody that works in a prison, like, #1 job is security, no matter how you look at it. I'm not an officer. I don't have a badge on my shirt, but we're always security.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way that I can, that's the first thing that I think of. I can lose my life walking into that door. That's how you have to look at it.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes me giggle. They're talking about making prison. I mean, they're talking about making pizza in their cell. I am like, don't you guys like get a whiff of that and go, if you're not sharing, I'm going to confiscate it anyway, as a joke, guys.
I mean, half the time I actually I think about like what they have and haven't touched before. I mean, yeah, it might smell good, but I mean, I'm going to have something that's home cooked better probably. So
good point.
I mean, gumbo in prison is probably some of the best stuff that, like, even us as officers have made it in the officer stations. Like, we'll have a gumbo day or something. It's the same thing they make, only it's probably better because we get better quality stuff.
And sadly, Gary, I knew that. Aren't most of the stuff they can get from the commissary clear? That way they can't hide any items inside there and give you guys a better chance to find items.
We don't have TVs in the cells where I'm at.
What's that?
They don't have TVs in their cells where I'm at. There's a TV room.
Oh, yeah,
as far as contraband, man, you'll be amazed at the size of the contraband they have and the places they can put it. And I'm not trying to say suitcase in it, but I'm just talking about you can find a cell phone or a shank or something like that in the little bittiest of places where everybody else just overlooked.
Well, and that's one of the things I think I talked about with both of you guys before. You're supposed to be in this area where you can't get items, but they're so creative about everything that I think they're better armed than you guys are at certain points. And that just, I can't begin to imagine what you think on a daily basis, but that makes me go, the fuck?
Comes with a job.
You know about it, but you don't dwell on it. I saw a study here recently that said that just about every inmate in a prison, or offender as they're called here in Georgia, has a homemade weapon on them or within reach 24/7 a day. So I mean, yeah, they
within 3 feet of them.
Yeah.
And if they're not carrying it, they have somebody else, kind of like the sex trade. They have another guy carry it for them.
Yep.
Yeah, and that just makes you think about like the gangs in prison, because you're always hearing about you stay with your own kind, you stay with your people look out for you unless, well, you're an idiot. And then you've got the prison justice system where the inmates take care of themselves.
Yeah, true to an extent, but inside the prisons, it's pretty much all gangs against the officers. They will join together. As I just had my training on it. They will join together, and it's them versus the officers.
The second that happens, you know that you're at your worst time at the prison. when you have the Bloods mixing with the Native Americans or the Hispanics or anything. If they all join together, that's when you know that the hairs on the back of your neck stand up.
I get that. It's like your own early warning system. You know, it's like, oh, fuck, something's about to go down. So instantly you're, oh my God, what's the words I'm looking for? Basically, your situational awareness gets raised to a higher level, and you're constantly like, all right.
It's our fire alarm.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned
I would literally call my lieutenant and be like, look, listen out for the radio. So-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so at a table sitting there talking. I don't know what it's about. It can't be good. We've had 3 nights of quiet. Just be ready.
And you see, it's funny how you put that, because like I talked about with you before, Bobby, when you're on that show that's on Paramount called Mayor of Kingstown.
Oh, it's actually a really good show. I mean,
oh yeah, I love it. Just finished the first season. I really hope it comes back. But there was that great scene in there where you have one of the prison guards, a higher up officer, going, we have 4 leaders talking together and there's nothing going on, and you know exactly what that's about.
They're talking about us.
Yeah, so it's like, I watching that scene went, ooh. Because the only way that I could correlate it, when I was in the Middle East, you have a bunch of hateful people who want to kill everybody unless they can kill Americans, and then they will pair up no problem to kill Americans. So, yeah, I get that part. And what do we got here? And I think I talked with this about them before, Gary, about treating, inmates with respect, and hopefully they get it back. But I know there's just, like he said, there's just some that are just assholes,
And that's the bad problem about that, is that now we're hiring 18-year-olds and they've probably never even told a little brother or sister what to do. But now we expect to tell them a 30-year-old convict, hey, lock down or get undressed for me or whatever. It's very odd to me, but it's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, where'd that go? Dan, how you doing, brother? They let you in the day room for this one, Dan? I affectionately call him Supermax, because when he does his unboxings, his basement looks like a little day room. And look at that. Vato, what's up, amigo?
Oh, Vato, I got hold of my buddies over at ICE. He expecting to visit later tonight.
I got the very top button for Vato.
See, respect, Vato. I'm just saying. Shaky's giving you a warning. Bobby's like, ole.
I get just the top one, unbutton everything else.
Yeah, but gee, isn't that like in every line of work? Because in the military, you had that 10% rule that no matter what you do, any kind of training, 10% is just not going to make it. Isn't that your guys? And I'm going to throw it out there as a generalized statement, because I know you basically have the same guidelines, but differences. Isn't it your job to help bring them up and try to train them? And if they can't, you've got to let someone know to get rid of them.
Yeah. In fact,
it's a chain of command.
I've got, I think we've got 7 new officers that just graduated the academy. They're working split shift this week, and I think most of them are coming to my shift next week. And being I'm the only officer that works the compound right now.
Are you nights?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm not the only officer, but I am senior officer there. I think I got more time than just about everybody in the camp, except maybe 1 or 2, and that's through all departments. And yeah, I'll be training some next week, and working with them, I'll be able to tell who's going to make it and who won't within a week, if not a few hours.
Well, is that okay? I'm only speaking from a military standpoint. Is that because you've been there for a while and you can just tell who's got it and who doesn't?
Yeah.
Or is that?
It's the same with a new recruit, just as it is if you walk into the dorm and you feel the tension. You can sit back day one. When I work with them, if they come in and they're acting scared, first off, they're not going to make it past a month. And I don't know about Bobby, but as long as I've done it, there's shortcuts I can take to do stuff and get stuff done. but I have to revert back to the proper way of my training to show them how to do it. If they want to learn shortcuts, they got to learn them on their own.
Okay,
Oh,
respect.
I agree with that. I look at it like, I mean, now in my position now, I teach guys how to referee sports, and one of the sports is basketball. I look at being a corrections officer as being a ref for basketball. Be strict right when you first start. I mean, do what you have to do by the book so that they know you mean business, and then shortly as the game's going on, you can kind of lay off to some of the calls. I mean, you can let the guys play.
Yeah.
And then when you have to go back to being strict, they can expect it. There's a reason that you're strict.
Yeah, we talked about that before. Okay, I don't know this person, so Bobby.
That's my best friend Jordan.
Okay, I don't want to hit.
I invited a bunch of people on Facebook, so
no, it's cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to hit that block button, so
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I'm checking.
That's a nickname that we had.
when I meet everybody next week in briefing, you know, we have to introduce ourselves. I'll be like, I'm Officer Rogers, 24 years with the department. The best piece of advice I can give you is learn the word no, say it and mean it with staff and offenders. Because certain staff, they're out to see if they can get you going.
Nice.
At one time, I actually heard that the word no was the least used word in the dictionary. And that's what they trained you in. Well, our basic training is academy is what they call it there. If you can't say no, then you can't do the job.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like we talked about before, I bet you both get hit with an awful lot of requests every day for something that may seem nothing to somebody else, like myself going, hey, I need a stamp, as an example. But that could be used to set you guys up in some way going, look, you know, Officer Rogers is doing this, you know, Bobby's doing, you know, just he's favoring this person over that person. And yeah, so I can see why no, and yeah, no.
Well, I get a lot of those guys that come up to me and they always start the conversation off with, hey, can you do me a favor? And my first response is, I don't do favors.
Exactly.
I get that. And I also get what you're saying earlier about saying no and being respectful about it, because if you draw that line, you've got that line drawn and they know right where it's at. Now,
right.
Like we've talked about, they're always going to try to get around it because everybody's got to hustle. Everybody's got this. But as long as you're true to your word and true to course, right. I get it. That's very, very respectful.
I mean, I get blessed out more with the word no than anything else. I mean, something as simple as, Officer Rogers, I don't have any food in my locker box. Can I step next door, across the hallway, and get something from my buddy over there? No. You fat SOB, da-da-da. I was like, all right, now it's the hell no.
And you see, I also agree with what I just put up from Gary a moment ago. Ron, type in what you need, bro. I agree with what Gary put up because it always seems like everybody finds God the moment the handcuffs go on. No matter what you've done, you're always a good God-fearing person when you go right before that judge. Always.
Yeah. Like see what they don't understand, and I said it on the last time I was on with you. I don't know about Bobby. I don't know about you. I know this boy right here. I came that close. I've done some stuff where I was that close to being in a cell with him. And I got out of the situations before it got bad.
Well, that's the difference between them and us.
Like that, yeah. I mean,
we just didn't get caught when we were supposed to.
The uniforms.
Exactly, Bobby. I just that's perfect. You just didn't get caught, or sometimes your mistake wasn't that bad enough that you had to go before a guy in a black robe and go, "Yeah, I'm a fucking dumbass, Your Honor."
And if you can't accept that, then I mean, you'll never be able to look at them just like a human being. Yeah, they're an inmate, but you did probably some of the same stupid shit that they did, but probably not as severe to where you're in prison now.
Exactly.
And I don't think I asked you guys this before, but because we're talking about it, I'm going to bring it up. Have you ever actually had an inmate say, "Yeah, I'm guilty"?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but most of the time they, like in the TV in Shawshank, I didn't do it. I'm innocent.
Yeah,
I mean, you've had both.
Yeah.
But I've had guys actually sit there and carry on a conversation because, I mean, I think that's how you actually get to know the demeanor of that person. Just let them talk. Even though, as long as it has nothing to do with me, I don't care what they're talking about. go ahead and talk. I mean, if they're going to sit there and talk about their case, then that's fine. It's not going to hurt my feelings as long as they don't bring me into it.
Yeah, and a lot of times that's all they want to do. They just want to talk. You'd be surprised at the number of times I've pulled an inmate out at 2 a.m, gave him a chair right there in the hallway, and I just sat there and let him rant and rave for about 20 minutes and look over. Are you good? Thank you, Officer Rogers. I'm going to bed now. You're a counselor as well as an officer. A lot of these guys didn't have their dads around, so you got to act as a parent sometimes. As strange as it sounds, you're going to be a parent, a counselor, a teacher, the guard. You're there.
Wear many hats, and you're that first line of defense in order to troubleshoot that problem to keep anything from going higher, for lack of a better phrase.
Right.
I mean, it can turn out, it can be a good thing to let them vent. It can be a bad thing. I mean, I've actually had the homemade weapons pulled on me by a couple of them. All I can do is just, hey, I got one with a weapon down here. Y'all need to get down here. And most of the time they're coming at me from the other side of the door with it while I'm standing in the door. Just step back and shut the door and watch them, see where they go, so I know where to go get the weapon when backup's there.
And I mean, I know we touched on that briefly before. That has got to be some intense stuff to watch when CERT goes in to do a cell extract. I mean, that's a small little area in there to get a bunch of bodies and shields in there.
It's more fun when you're part of the team that goes in to do it.
It's somehow, I expected that from you, Bob. Shaky.
I got to do one. I got to do one in my career, and I was shield man. That joker dropped to his knees thinking I wasn't going to hit him. No, I was over 400 at the time. My big ass jumped up in the air and came down on top of him with that shield. I flattened him out, and I went on vacation.
I'll answer yes to that, Vato.
Yeah, I went on vacation the next day, came back, or the next week came back, and he started mouthing off at me. I just looked at him. He told the doorman, I'm lying. Don't do that. Officer Rogers will flatten you like a pancake.
And to answer Vato, I mean, I wouldn't say that I necessarily meet good people. I mean, people with probably good intentions. I mean, you can meet the same type of person at Walmart where I live. I mean, really.
Well, I worked in the PDC for years, and a lot of the people that are in that PDC work locally, and they were in there from 3 months to 2 years. So I go out to a restaurant and sitting there behind, like say Golden Corral. I'll use it for an example. Went in there one day with some other corrections officers to eat. There's one of our inmates behind the counter slicing up the roast. Been into Walmart and Kmart. Officer Rogers, you buying a TV from us today? No.
See, okay. If they've been out for a while, I can see that where they're approaching you guys and being like, hey, Officer Rogers. But if they just got out, there's a part of me that goes, there's got to be that pucker factor, seeing correction guards walking right into your place of employment, and instantly you're like, oh, fuck, what'd I do?
I told the story last time. I had this 18-year-old kid that was just giving me hell the whole time he was with me. And he vowed if he ever saw me on the street, he was going to kill me.
Yeah,
I was working a hospital post, and I came out the hospital that morning, and I heard Officer Rogers. I turned around, and there he was. I dropped my bag, everything. You had the hospital police was out there, doctors, nurses, people coming in. I squared up, ready to go. And he stuck his hand out and shook my hand to shake my hand, so I shook it. But I shook it with my weak hand because I had my left hand cocked and ready. Yeah. And he pulled me in and gave me a hug and said, thank you for being a hard ass. He said, I ain't got much, but I'm working full time here at the McDonald's in the hospital, and I put a roof over my head and I got me a car. Thank you for being that hard ass. Nobody ever treated me like you did. That right there is the assurance that you're doing your job right. You've hit somebody in the heart. And if you can change somebody, even if it's a little bit, they may go back to their old ways, but if you change somebody that little bit, you did your job.
Now, this may be one you guys can't answer. how much annual training do you guys get? Are you constantly being updated with stuff and new procedures and new techniques and everything?
I wouldn't say new techniques. We've went from it used to be a week's worth of training in class to now everything online. And then the only in person or hands-on training that we have to spray once a year. We have to do CPR and first aid once a year, and we have to do self-defense and restraints at our prison.
All right.
Okay.
Where we have in service, it's 3 days of class, but they're trying to do it all online. And I just finished last year's a couple of days before the end of the year. And I just said I wasn't going to procrastinate this year. I've got like 3 classes left to take for this year. And that's yearly training. It's called in service. And then we have the range day once a year where we have to go qualify with the Glocks and shotguns.
Yeah, and I don't have to do that no more.
Oh, really? We used to do it every other year.
Well, no, I'm saying since I don't carry a weapon and I'll never worked an armed post, they don't make me go to that training anymore. And I don't want to get mandatory overtime, so I'm not signing up for that.
And I don't know if you guys are allowed to answer this. Do you guys carry, well, not you, Bobby, but Shaky. Do you carry a sidearm or do you carry less lethal? Because I keep hearing about how a lot of prisons will not let officers carry firearms unless they're on top of the walls. Everything is less
lethal. You're not allowed to have a firearm inside the perimeter without the permission of the warden. And it has to be locked up under your seat in a lockbox.
Yeah, we have to fill out a paper.
Yeah. If you're working a tower, which, yes, you'll be armed. If you're working the perimeter vehicle, you will be armed. Inside the prison, as an officer, you've got your radio, and I pray for you that it works, because I normally get a bad one, which is scary. And yeah, you don't carry inside. The supervisors carry the taser and the OC spray if they qualified with it. Now, I can't be tased due to a heart issue.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you guys do have to go through the taser process to know what it feels like.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's what the qualification is. For you to use either one of those, you have to be hit with them, so you know what it feels like. Now, I haven't been OC sprayed either, because when I was little, I got hit in the left eye with a softball, and my eye was literally hanging out the socket. And so I don't think my eye doctor will let me when it finally comes up. But I haven't been qualified for it since I've been with the department. But I've been hit secondary with it when they've sprayed somebody, and even that little bit. Imagine going from feeling great to 1,000% bronchitis within about 3 seconds.
And I have been sprayed.
Snot and everything.
I was qualified for spray, gas. It was lethal and non-lethal. So we got the Glock, the shotgun, the Mini 14,
right?
And then less lethal, which is stock rounds.
See,
what's that?
Billy, go ahead.
I got to shoot the Mini 14 on a range day. I just stuck around to help clean weapons, because I didn't really want to go home yet, because I had to work that night. And if I knew I got a couple more hours on range, I didn't have to come in. So they were letting me shoot the Mini 14s, because they had to fire every weapon that day.
See, and that's what's always made me laugh when you see people who have, the pepper spray for a civilian term, and they discharge it in a really small enclosed environment thinking they're going to disable someone. And it's like, guess what? You get it too.
And that's one thing they train is we get in a circle, and I can talk about this. We just get in a circle and you get in a tight spot, and they take an old outdated can of an MK9, which is that big handle that you see like in like a SWAT would carry. Yeah. And they have 2 people pull it apart in the circle, and everybody gets doused with it. That's that's a secondary exposure is what they call it. But I carry an MK9 every day at work.
I can see that, because for you,
I can carry a Motorola.
I don't carry cell phone or radio. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get a radio. I don't carry cuffs, and that's usually, if an inmate's not wanting to comply and doesn't want to go inside, I walk him to the gate, and he's like, "Aren't you going to cuff me?" So I don't use cuffs, and I just walk with him to the gate nicely, and I'll let him in.
Yeah.
And you're not a small guy, Bobby, so there's got to be that, I don't know, that little bit of intimidation factor. You're like, wait, you're not going to attack?
Well, I'm not big. I'm probably shorter than both of you guys. I'm 5'8".
Now, see, you're taller than me.
Oh, I'm 5'8", about 240. Short and wide. I think that me and Joe could probably be twins.
That was just Ross Outdoors saying hello, everyone.
What's up?
How's it going?
Oh, God. So, okay.
Can I ask Shaky a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how's your guys' recreation? Like, what does it consist of? Like, is it organized sports? Is it like, do they go play at recess?
It's organized. We have a softball season. We have a basketball season. And a guy that I've worked with for years, that was an officer, he took over the coach's position. And I haven't seen him lately. I know he said he was going to retire at the end of the year, but other people said he's been coming to work. And he's actually asked me if I wanted to take over it, but you have to have college education, and I'm a college dropout, or I would have taken the job in a heartbeat.
I just didn't know how different it was from mine. I mean, I've got all those leagues also.
Yeah, and when I was at Dooley State, they had a football league, and we literally tried it. I mean, it wasn't tackle, it was flag football. We tried to get it to do like on the Burt Reynolds movie,
Longest Yard.
We tried to do we tried to do staff versus inmates. Everybody wanted it, but we couldn't get it approved. Just as some kind of thing to be like, look, let's get out there, let's take out a little bit of frustration. But I guess they thought it would get out of hand.
Gee,
because I was dying to get out there and be a deep.
You know, and when you sit there and you think about it, like I've always thought that like Box-A-Buddy, you get in with the headgear. If you had Box-A-Buddy in a prison and you were able to do that maybe once a year or whatever, you know how much frustration that would probably take down on the prison with fights and stuff, especially places like San Quentin or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I remember from my time in the military, if you got a problem with somebody else, your sergeant would pull you out back. Y'all would beat the crap out of each other and wouldn't stop.
And you'd be best friends after it was done.
Yeah, you go get a beer and, you know, you act like it was no big deal. You know? And okay, that's a really good point, because it makes me wonder for those programs. Now, I can see the potential from abuse being a civilian on the outside.
Right. I mean, it would never happen. I'm just saying, I've always thought that like that one activity like that, or even if it was flag football, I mean, I doubt it'd ever be. I would never want to play tackle football again because I'd probably die. But
the linemen, they gave the big pads that you had to hold with both hands.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So when they hit, don't be mistaken. They hit like they were playing full contact.
Right.
But it was the roughest form of flag football you had ever seen, but it was organized.
Same with basketball.
Well, oh yeah, okay. I've watched both of them. I used to love it on weekends when they had the football games all morning, knowing that you're there. It's nice, cool fall morning. I should be out in the deer woods, and oh well, football don't come on till 12:30. Boom! Oh shit, they're playing behind me. So I turn around, watch the game, turn back, watch the dorm, watch the game, go make rounds, watch the game.
Doesn't that keep them kind of docile, for lack of a better phrase, thinking that they may lose TV, like the NFL or the NBA, or I don't know if baseball's big in prison, but you always hear about basketball and football.
Basketball is 24/7, 7 days a damn week. Working in the prison has took me away from being a fan of basketball ever again.
The first year I was out in the gym, when I took my position, it was my first year of organized basketball that I had to do, and I did not watch one second of basketball that year because I hated it so much.
Oh wow!
But I mean, now that I've gotten the hang of like what I'm going to expect when I actually have the activity, I mean, it's not as bad. So I'll watch college basketball. I was a fan of the NBA a long time ago, but it's been a while since I've actually sat down and watched a full NBA game.
And if any of you guys are watching this, And
I
you
know
guys
you go by
watching
Lord Ginger, but I'm sitting in my throne and I'm taking the crown, baby.
this? And if any of you guys who are currently watching this have a question, please drop it in the chat, because we've got two wonderful people from two entirely different states and two entirely different systems. So there are similarities, but there are differences. And they've been wonderful to talk about a lot of stuff tonight. We just have certain ground rules that we will never violate. I stopped watching after everything got political, to be honest. I didn't care at that point. I want to watch sports to get away from that, not watch sports to get a dose of that.
My football season ended last week on Monday night with a national championship title. Go Dogs!
I do watch the
That's all
NFL.
I
I
can
was
say.
heartbroken on Sunday, so I don't want to talk about it right now.
And we've lost 19 players and coaches to the draft and to the transfer portal. So Georgia's coming at you all brand new just about next year.
Nice.
It ain't good for us.
Now, here's a weird one for both of you guys. Bobby, if you were standing a post, this would apply to you, or when you were doing it. Would you rather be
standing post as a coach? He's watching the field and watching the court.
well?
And if I'm not mistaken, I know at my camp when I was on days, the coach was the only one out there.
Nice. Would you rather be detailed to the day room or the cafeteria?
I've got two opinions. I mean, I don't mind either one. The day room is, I mean, the only thing I didn't like about that was that you had some, I mean, I guess you had some people that wanted to watch certain things that I didn't want to really even listen to, but I'd sit there and listen to it. But the chow hall, I mean, that made time fly like nothing. But I think that those positions are meant for the new people, because if they can't do that job, they can't run a cell house or a cell block or a dorm. If you can actually work a chow hall for the hour and a half that they're in there, I think that they could probably manage a cell house, because they just need to know where everybody goes.
Good point.
It builds character, and I think it helps you with talking to the inmates, telling them to leave the chow hall, being nice. It's just like I don't know if I brought this up the last time. The rule of Roadhouse. Did you ever watch that movie?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, be nice, and that's really all he gets at. Be nice, and then if he doesn't want to be nice, that's the point where you're not nice anymore.
And Billy, before you answer, Ross, I see your question. I'm not going to post that or ask them, because I do not ask people in their situations that. I don't want them looking back at any potential trauma they may have faced or had before. I don't want any bad memories. We're here to talk about some other stuff. So sorry, brother.
I will say this on that, not knowing the question. I know for myself, I can't speak for Bobby, but I'm sure he's probably in the same boat. We've seen stuff in there that no person should have ever seen. And PTSD is not just military; it's for first responders too, y'all. I mean, I've gone into situations that the worst horror movie you ever saw looked like a kid's story. I mean, yeah. I will say that, and that's all I'm going to say on it. I mean, not getting into any situations.
No, but, I would never, just like before, I would never ask you guys that ever. So, Billy, chow hall, day room.
I'm working both right now. At night, every dorm has a day room. You got one officer per dorm. So you got the day room and you got the living unit. My dorm's an open dorm, so it's like the day room's right when I walk into the pod, and then I got 2 floors of racks, and I can see them from my booth. And I mean, they don't understand. I got a huge computer monitor right in front of me for the doors, but the reflection is perfect off that thing from behind me. So they think I'm looking in 3 and 4, and they may go to fight and over in 1. I just turn around, stand up, and look, and all of a sudden, they grab them and pull them apart. I walk over there. What was it about? Oh, it's over with. I said, is it squash? Yep. pick up some stuff and start sweeping. Clean my dorm, get everything straight, or I'm cutting the TVs off and y'all without them tonight.
Nice.
You've got to come up with alternative ways of doing your job. A write-up's not going to solve every problem. But you making somebody work for their action they just did, one, it's going to give you a little bit more respect because, oh, he's not going to run every time there's this. And two, you get your job done that you needed done without having to, just instead of going over and picking somebody, y'all two get to sweeping the floor. Turn this way, turn that way. No red marks, no scratches. Y'all, they're done.
Doc, we're talking Department of Corrections tonight. We've got two incredible people from two different states in two different systems. So if you got any questions you want to throw out there, Doc, please. You know my show, bro. You know we don't sugarcoat crap. So, all right, this is one I know I briefly touched on with you guys before, but I'm really curious about this. A big name inmate. Do you guys get a lot of warning about them when they're coming into your system? Like, a local mass murder, local whatever. Do you guys get prep for them? Or do you even keep them that long? Do they get moved around a bunch?
They don't per se warn us. I try not to catch the news because I don't want to really know what they're in there for, because your personal feelings can get involved with what they're in there for. They tell you to treat everybody the same. That way you don't treat them different. And if say one's in here for murder, whatever, drugs, this, that, and the other, compared to somebody that may have been in there for messing with a kid, you're going to treat that person different if that's how you feel. That's why I don't want to know. And I've had some high profile cases in there. I've had to watch some people in my career that have been on national TV and had documentaries about them on TV.
Oh, wow.
They're no different than anybody else. I treat them no different than anybody else. You don't give them the satisfaction of letting them know that they might be celebrity status with certain people. You don't.
But when I was an officer, I would work seg. We would get heads up on guys that we would be getting into segregation, like they were on long-term lockdown or anything like that. But recently, when the prison went from just max, they consider it they were calling it super max or whatever. That's really just a phrase that they say. It's not actually a form of security. I think that there's like certain things that need to apply that super max. What makes a prison super max or just max? But yeah, we got warned that we were going to be getting like the quote unquote worst of the worst. But I mean, nobody specific, like big names or anything like that.
And Ron's got a question. Don't mention any names. Have you ever had any actors or musicians in your prison?
No. Not that I can think of that have been famous enough.
Yep. That's all I'm going to say. Yep.
Ross, I do a stream every single Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I try to vary up guests every single week. So I'm bringing somebody who's got a different story and has, just things to talk about. Something totally different other than, hey, this week we're going to talk about beard oil. So if you want to tune in, bro, please do. Love to have you back. And Doc, yeah, I have huge respect for those guys. I really do. Everybody who voluntarily goes in there. Yes.
Speaking of beers, what you guys got in beard?
Short and Stout by Ready Man. It's
not true. My Beard Octane. I'm testing it this week for a review on Saturday.
Nice. Short and Stout's a beautiful chocolate oatmeal stout. It's like having chocolate with a Guinness. That's about the best way I can put it.
I got Gary's Scumbag Joe's.
I've got to get that, and Hooligans are the ones everybody's telling me to get. I've got Ruckus and Fizz 182, and probably next week I'm going to be testing the 182 for another 3-in-1, a second 3-in-1 on the peach flavor and scent. But I just dropped this morning my 3-in-1 on Ruckus.
I saw the strawberry. Is that the strawberry one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the strawberry one, but I watched it on Instagram, and it wouldn't let me comment because I wasn't logged in through my Instagram.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. As a strong supporter of Chesapeake as I was, Chesapeake is dead. Alley Cat is just, it's better. It's all around better than Chesapeake ever was.
I know that I used that stuff 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to condition after a wash at all.
I used Hooligan for a week straight as my initial testing from everything out of the launch box. I've used Hooligan, Ruckus, Fizz 182, and Moonstompers so far.
My name is Chris, and I got a lunchbox.
I bought mine, bitch, so fuck you. I'm not privileged like certain
No,
other people.
that was a great deal. I wanted to, and I was like, I just can't see spending that at the time, especially with the meetups coming up. I haven't made the one down in Florida yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make it, and I'm tax money when it gets here. I'm going to book my flight, and I think they said Casey was working on a discount with a hotel or something, trying to for the Jackson Hole trip. I'm not going to miss that one. I've been wanting to get out there for years. That's on my bucket list.
Yeah, I knew I'd be pissed at myself if I didn't get it, so I just saved a couple AdSense payments, and I was like, the moment Corey from Weatherbeard talked Gary into releasing another 25, and Gary brought it out, I'm like, there we go, sold.
Oh, and I didn't get to say I did get your collab with Ready Man. It's very nice.
Dude, Jimmy killed it. He really did. Every cent gets a chance to come forward in that. It's not like it's anything really forward. And he just, it's phenomenal. And especially the new label he put on it with the American flag on the back now.
Yeah, I didn't get that one. I got the OG. I think I ordered it like a few days after it came out.
Yeah, well, I'm buying the new one as soon as Jimmy says it's ready to go. And speaking of that wonderful thing, anybody watching this, I have not been told that GI has been put out to the preserve yet. So every single sale is just increasing the amount I'm donating to StopSoldierSuicide.org. So you want it, go get it. It's phenomenal. I may be biased.
I recommend the liquid butter. I mean, I haven't tried his. I think it's whipped. Is it?
No, it's poured now. He got rid of whip because it was killing his arm.
Gotcha. Well, I haven't tried his poured, but I'm addicted to his liquid butter. It's perfect for travel, and it's perfect for camping.
Oh, that summer butter is just fire, man. Shake the crap out of it, and you're good to go.
I just like the sriracha chop ideal.
Right? It makes it so easy to control everything, and oh my god. Right. That's why I giggled when I got some from Beard Octane, the LCW and the other stuff, and I got the sriracha top on there. I was like, oh god, thank you. Mark Brown, that's very nice of you. Thank you, bro. Seriously, very, very nice of you. Thank you so much.
What's going on, Mark?
Record, Mark was the very first order from Alley Cat. He beat me by seconds. See, Mark, I got it out there. But still. All right, guys, I got a couple more for you before we start hitting the usual little stuff we do at the end, because, we usually only go about an hour, 10, 20-minute stops. And I'm very, very grateful for the time you guys gave me tonight. If you could say anything to someone who wants to go into the correction field, and I know we touched on weird subjects tonight, give them any kind of advice. What advice would you impart to someone who wants to set out this career path?
I said it earlier. One, just realize what you're getting into. It's a whole nother world inside those gates. It really is. And if you don't know that word no, you better learn it and learn it quick and mean it when you say it. Because if not, you're going to be eaten alive.
Really, I would just say don't expect anything if you've never done anything like this in your entire life. Don't expect anything. Don't expect it to be like Oz. Don't expect it to be like any of the other TV shows or movies that are out there, because you're not going to get that. I would actually say expect a complete opposite, because you'll never know what you're going to actually walk into any day of the week. Always expect the unexpected and walk into it like you're working at Walmart. I mean, that's all it is. You are customer service for the people that want to come and talk to you, but you're also, I mean, you're there to stop anything bad from happening.
Nice. Those are two really, really good bits of advice. Seriously.
Bobby will agree with me on this one. Any day that you walk out of there, no matter what happened that night, was a good day. Yeah. If you walked out to go home to your family, it was a good day, no matter what happened. And the other thing you've really got to do, you've got to learn to separate work, what happened that night, to your home life.
See,
it's going to eat at you. And it ate at me, and it cost me some stuff dealing with it. It cost, I mean, I'll say it. It was one of the things that helped with my divorce. I didn't know how to differentiate if I didn't say it right. And
no,
it cost.
I know what you're saying.
It costs. It will change your life in one form or fashion. And you won't even realize it. I mean, my language, and y'all know, y'all been in lives with me on IG and everything else. My language is straight prison slang. I mean, I was at my parents' house one day using the restroom, and I hollered, there was no more toilet paper. Well, what does Rogers do? Somebody bring some shit paper. I mean, you hear that prison slang so much, you kind of adapt it because you have to use that in talking with the inmates.
Well, see, and that's something I've also said, and we're going to get right back to that because I wanted to touch on it because you mentioned it. Being former military, I can talk to anybody, and we use a different communication system. Like when Dave and I talk, there's a lot of F-bombs. When Ken and I talk, there's a lot of different talk that we do and how we bust each other's ass down because that's the military. You go to that dark well real quick and you insult each other so much, and it's just like, okay, cool. You sprinkle F-bombs like they're salt over stuff, you know? And yes, Nick, they both work in a prison. Okay, the one thing I really wanted to touch on, how do you separate that? What was that switch moment for you guys where you figured out how to leave work at work?
I'll let you go first.
I'll be honest, a lot of times I haven't. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I found myself all the way home just cussing out supervisors, co-workers, inmates, and all that, just trying to get it out my system before I get home. I live by myself. I got nobody here to take it out on or anything else, but I don't want it on my mind when I walk through my front door.
Okay.
With me, I mean, the biggest benefit is that I don't deal with what Shaky deals with. I mean, I look at it through a different glass because I get to see some certain good things more than I see the bad part or the politics. I mean, yeah, I still see the politics now, but I mean, just a couple weeks ago, I was talking to my boss. I don't know if you guys have ever watched like any YouTube videos or TikToks or whatever you want to call them of like the special kid getting able to go in for like a basketball game and he gets to make a basket and like the other team lets him make it.
Yeah.
Now we had something sort of like that, but I mean, I get to deal with that. I mean, they didn't let them shoot it, but like the whole gym was loud and they were cheering for this one guy. He was just a little special needs. We do have that in the prison. I mean, and that's what people don't see, but that's the benefit that I get to deal with versus what he does. But when I was an officer, I mean, I at least had a drive to like listen to stand-up comedy or podcast or something like that. I mean, I would say that if you could drive at least 30 minutes, maybe more from work to home and be able to still make ends meet, then I would highly recommend that.
That's what I do. I'm about 25, 30 minutes away from the prison. And I mean, I know I'm one. I have to psych myself up to go in there. I got to kind of prep myself. So like on the way to work, I'm listening to the old school rock stations, and I'm at AC/DC, Black Sabbath, and all that. I'm getting prepared. I'm psyching myself up and hoping it's a good night. On the way home, if I want to mellow out, I put it over on my country music, throw in some Jimmy Buffett or something, and I'm just cruising, thinking I'm gonna go home and get me a cold beer, maybe a shot. Sometimes nothing, most of the time nothing at all. Just go home, get breakfast or dinner for me, and sit down and kind of veg out on YouTube for a good hour and a half, and then it's time for bed. but you have to mentally prepare to go into this job daily.
Yeah.
Whether you have to psych yourself up to it, you got to do something that you got to remember. If you got kids, you know, you're doing it for the kids. You're doing it for your family. Damn, another bill just came in. You got to pay that off. You might have to work overtime this week.
Nice. Now, I know when you guys were here before, we were talking about mental health, but I've made a little switch. Okay. And yeah, because Ron, like they were saying, everything changes on a daily. So it's not like they know on Wednesdays we're going to have this and it's Taco Tuesday or, you know, Fajita Friday. It's, you never know what's going to happen. But one of the things
your head's always on a swivel while you're in there too. Don't never get just stare at one spot unless something's going on and you're trying to see who's involved. Just always keep your head going side to side. Look, watch everything else. Yeah.
Now, one of the big, huge switches that I made was 2021 kind of was like the year of the troll. All right. Toddlers tried to take over everything. But in 2022, we're doing things a little bit differently. One of the big things I'm asking is take a moment of your day to help build people up. Because once you give into that anger, it owns you. It could be over anything. Like earlier this morning, my girls after a 3-day weekend, I'm taking them out to the bus stop. I'm really not in the mood to stand outside in 32-degree weather when it's raining, but I gave them a compliment. I went, hey, great job getting out of the house this morning. No fighting, no problems. And instantly after that compliment, they fought over something stupid. Your umbrella touched me. It got me a little wet. And I'm like, really? I just got done giving you a compliment and now you're going to do this? But it's that step back from that moment of rage and go, no, I'm not going to give into it. And there's lots of people like these two wonderful gentlemen who gave me some of their time tonight. Like with Billy, when I talked to him via, I think it was Instagram, and I was like, oh, Jesus, put on a shirt. And he's like, no, screw you. And started playing with his nipple. I'm like, oh, you bastard. And yes, he is a full silverback in case anybody is curious. But still.
Hey, I told y'all for a couple of years now, if I can't make you laugh or smile, I'm not doing my job on here.
But it's that mentality to help make people smile, help make people laugh. Bobby, you telling me tonight my collab was good. You liked it. Made me smile. You know, think of what we can do because we've had an hour tonight. No drama, no problems, no fights, no crap. Just three guys talking. Imagine what you can do. Now, like I usually, I'm going to turn it over this to you guys. Do you have anything you want to follow up with that one on?
He's right, y'all. Always put mental health ahead. This is someone coming at you that suffers from severe depression. It will take over your life if you let it. And those that have talked to me in private, you know my situation. You know that I've busted my ass to beat depression. But it's not just depression that comes along with it. I mean, it affects your whole life. How you conduct your day-to-day stuff. Well, this needs to be done. I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to watch TV. No, get it done because it'll build up like it has with me, and you don't know where to start. But you just put that 1 foot forward and do what you have to do to get your life back on track. And before we go, you know, I know, Ron, you're going through some stuff. Reach out. You can bend my ear any day of the week, and that goes for anybody. Also, Rodney, big man bearded, get well, buddy. I know you've been rocking in that hospital for about 3-4 months now.
I've been offered a jailbreak
for COVID, and you asked for prayers for your wife. So I don't know what's going on with that. But I talked to Rodney Saturday night. I texted you because I was out sick. He thought he was going home in January. Now they've told him it's going to be mid-February. So y'all keep him in thoughts and prayers, and the rest of us too. I mean, we got a hell of a job.
And believe it or not, Jakey, Rodney is bound and determined to come on this show from his hospital bed if he has to, because he's dying to talk about stuff.
Yo, I know. Me and him will talk for a good half hour.
Yeah.
At least once a week, we text back and forth. But, always, keep all of us in your prayers, really. But we've got a job that we put our lives on the line daily. And it's not it's not for ourselves, really. Yeah, we got bills to pay and stuff like that. But the first line for Georgia in the mission statement is we're here for the public, to protect the public. We're here for y'all. We're here to keep your nightmares inside. We're also considered by law enforcement the lowest form of law enforcement and the stuff on the bottom of the shoe in the law enforcement community. But we're the biggest agency across the country. And we do it for y'all, not for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say, I mean, exactly what they said. I mean, I've never been on the end of having depression or being sad, but I mean, I know that it's real. I've worked in a psych hospital. I know, worked in a prison. I mean, prisons are probably one of the most saddest places on this planet, just shy of a funeral home. But I would say that just that one little thing, it might not help just that person that you're telling. It might help you also. So me telling you that, I mean, it might build you up. I mean, it might build Shaky up if he just messaging somebody, it's going to make him feel good too. But just being there for somebody's probably going to help the most. I mean, just to listen, not to say a word. I mean, 30 minutes of you listening is probably 24 hours of somebody's time.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if I can have an inmate vent to me for a half hour to an hour in a hallway to get stuff off their chest, I can damn sure make time for one of my brothers.
And on that wonderful note, I know, Bobby, you don't do a lot of reviews and everything, so this may not apply to you. But Shaky, do you have anything coming up this week that you want to let people know about?
I dropped a 3-in-1 this morning where I do a beard product, craft beer, and a whiskey. And it's on my YouTube channel. Probably, I ain't decided if I'm going to do it in tomorrow because the videos back to back like that. I mean, my videos don't get a lot of hits anyway, but either tomorrow morning or Thursday morning, I'll be dropping it's either going to be on the Outlaw new flavor of the month video or the new pontoon beer I got. And other than that, I'm just trying to come out, take a day a week on my off day, film 3 videos for the following week. And beginning of February, fingers crossed, I get everything back and set up. Lockdown's coming, which will be my live stream. It'll be bi-weekly.
I got some of that cinnamon out. Well, I didn't get any cinnamon out of it.
No, it's not the same cinnamon that George had when he ran Tough Guy, because George still runs it. Outlaw's name's on it, but George runs it. And the cinnamon before, when it was Tough Guy, you put it in, it is literally like sticking a piece of big red chewing gum right there in your gum.
Nice.
This right here.
That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, that's what I was too. I even sent George a message like, you should have talked him into using the old formula.
They even changed the name from like cinnamon or something to Spitfire, and I was like, well,
yeah,
it's not spicy at all, but
yeah, Spitfire cinnamon. It's not. I was hoping George would have took the lead on that one and brought back the old cinnamon, because that was my favorite of Tough Guy. And when they put them on sale the other day for the flavor of the month, yeah, my dumb ass bought 20 cans plus my 6 I had coming in. Well, they put them on sale for $3 a can. So I mean,
well, they didn't have them on individual cans that I could find, but
okay. Now, on that happy note, guys, for me tomorrow, big surprise. It's a blade review, but it's not a blade. It's a blade, an axe, a saw, a pry bar. It's a really weird blade that was in a Marvel movie before the Marvel universe really took over. And it was a Punisher movie, so it's a really unique blade. So you might want to tune in for that one, because
I have a question for you, Chris.
Who's that? Bushy, doing good, brother. Thank you for asking. Tuning in right at the end. Cruise must be done. Oh, was that out loud? I'm sorry. You guys know I love J. Cruz,
No, but I got a question for you, Chris, if you can answer it.
Right.
If you can answer it. What is the most expensive knife that you own?
It's actually sitting right here. Have you seen the show Naked and Afraid?
No, but I've heard of it. I mean, I've heard different about those different wilderness type movies.
If I say the name EJ Skullcrusher, do you know who I'm talking about?
Is that the guy you had on your show?
No, he's big. He's big into like reality survival stuff. He's an ex-vet, but it's his blade with tops. $320.
I was just curious because I always see you doing like you're a big Gerber fan, but I mean, I see you doing those. I mean, they probably don't break 50. I mean, at most probably $55-$60, like on the smaller reviews. So I just was curious about.
Nope, that was a, how can I put it? That was a stimulus check purchase that's been sitting around for a while, and I couldn't figure out how to get it reviewed. But the review on this guy is shot. It will be coming to the channel shortly, but the most expensive right here.
There's one company that I want a knife from them, but it's expensive.
Who?
This is the guy that I told you about. My friend on Facebook. It's Garrett Knives.
Yeah. I remember that.
He just had hand surgery, so he's getting ready for a show, and he had I think he said it was like 20 or 30 knives on his bench that he's still waiting to finish. That he doesn't know if he can actually finish it while he's going through his recovery with his hand surgery.
Okay, Bushy, I'll buy that one. I just saw it, brother. I'll buy that one. But like I said, guys, we got the Tops review coming out tomorrow. We have a really, really important step-parent vlog that I have to shoot. I wasn't sure how to talk about it, but it's going to be called a name change. And it's a really important one that you guys might want to tune in and see. But guys, I'm going to roll that wonderful little outro. You two wonderful gentlemen, stay there. Going to talk to you in the green room just like last time. So guys, thank everybody for watching. Very, very grateful that you're here. If I have my scheduling right, I've got 2 wonderful guests next week, but I'm not going to give you their names just yet, but I got 2. All right, let's hit that little thing and let's see if I get it right tonight. Guys, thank you so much for the time you just gave me. I hope you enjoyed our guest tonight, if we had one, and yes, I'm pre-recording this, or that you might have enjoyed an open mic night or whatever the heck just happened. We're going to try to do these every single Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and whatever you guys are in between and around the world. Next week, we should have another amazing guest or something really cool for you to watch. Thanks so much for watching all this stuff, guys, and we'll see you in our next one.